Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of South by Southeast. We have been away for a little bit, but we are here today with Chico from Chico's Oven. So thank you for joining us, Chico.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming.
Of course, of course. So tell me a little bit about Chico's Oven and the history that it has in South Chicago and Bush.
Sure. Well, Chico's Oven is a culmination and kind of a return of a few things for myself and my family here in Bush.
Of course.
Welcome to Bush as well.
Yes.
But this is part of our family history, my family history. My parents had a bakery, grocery store here from the late 70s till 1994. And I grew up in it. Actually, this building that we're in now, we lived upstairs.
Oh my gosh.
We had a choice. We were the exploited child workers. But like most immigrant families, my dad worked also at U.S. Steel.
I've seen the pictures of you in the.
And
I'm sure we'll show some.
Yeah, and we were kids here that would just that we would work in the store, and we knew everybody. And it was really cool because it was a very vibrant, very much different community as it is today. But luckily, most of the folks that we knew growing up, we still know today, which has been really exciting. But between when I finished high school, actually, I went to Roosevelt University for my undergrad, which is just
you went to Roosevelt
I went
too?
to Roosevelt.
Did
you went there?
I went to Roosevelt too.
So I would just jump on the train here and go to class at night, and then during the day would run the store. And one thing we did back then, between 90 and 94, was converted from a sort of your typical ethnic Mexican store to more of a grab-and-go convenience store.
Oh, nice,
and so take advantage of the train, the park, the then school, and obviously St. Michael's Church, and we're on a major thoroughfare, so it completely changed we changed the merchandise mix and had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
But closed it in 94. I applied to grad school, and actually I got in. And I was all of 21 years old.
Actually got in?
And so,
I'm sure you would have anyway.
No, I guess eventually, but typically recent graduates don't get in, and I got in. I got into Loyola.
Oh,
and
nice.
I said, and I have a chance to kind of work in the community. And by sort of 1994, you'd seen sort of the closing of mills, kind of changes in the community. And there was a group called the Southeast Chicago Development Commission. And I applied for a job there, got to work there, but shut this down
wow.
on my mom's birthday in 94. And then I said, one day we'll reopen it, Dad. I'll fix it up, and you'll see, right? And so that was 27 plus years ago. And in that time, I did a career, did stuff in economic development, association leadership, lobbying, government relation work, public service. Worked at the Department of Aviation for a while, and always sort of with this keen kind of understanding that one day I'd come back to this.
Of course.
And I heard a long time ago that life is a series of circles.
Oh yeah,
and, things come back. And so got married, have two beautiful sons, beautiful wife, right over there running,
helping you out today.
Working, and so we lived here up until a few years ago, and then we moved a whole whopping 1.5 miles south of Vets Park, and my sister lives here now. But
nice.
Most of all the equipment that we had from the bakery, we mothballed, and we hadn't moved it. So the oven literally hasn't moved since the late 70s.
Oh my gosh!
And so it's the same oven. One of those big Blodgett pizza ovens, deck ovens, and all the recipes we kept, and we said, let's figure out how to, create a menu that's a little different. And we originally wanted to open this up probably 5 years ago, and then things got a little slowed down. And,
of course.
But I will say, in the 28 years, we upgraded everything to this building, sort of the electrical, the plumbing.
I know you talked about the ceiling too,
here,
and it was insane amount of work.
it was this is just my Michelangelo piece, my Sistine Chapel. The whole building is really, and if you go upstairs, we redid the apartment. First floor was built in 1896.
Oh my gosh!
And then the second floor in the 50s, I think 57, and this used to be a butcher shop.
Oh, okay.
And actually, when we opened a year ago, one of the customers came by and said that it was like her aunt or something, and they weren't sure. They knew the address. But if you look around, actually, that used to be there is a walk-in cooler back there.
Oh, okay.
And it's these old school coolers where they actually had the doors on that they were installed there
on the wall.
On the wall.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that's how it was because I had those doors in the basement and I threw them out back in the mid-90s.
Oh, no.
I only found out because all those, if you see the ornate wood there, it was covered with white panels. And I
Oh,
never knew it until I
okay.
tore up the panel that said, "Oh,
Yeah.
the doors went to this."
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know. But so we got all the recipes. They're all my dad's recipes, and my dad was a baker in Mexico, and so
Oh, okay.
when we all came, we were younger. Um, he, like most immigrants, you can't just do one thing. You gotta do multiple
Multiple
things,
things
right?
to see what sticks. Yeah.
And so my mom ran the store. He worked swing shifts at the mill, but he would bake on his free time.
Oh, okay.
And so that's where I learned how to bake, and I loved it, and I loved learning about it. And then obviously I have my boys now, and now they're at the age where they should
They
learn how
can
to
learn
work,
too.
and they and I call it sort of my own workforce program for them because
It's an internship.
exactly, it's an apprenticeship for them to learn. I call it just the basics of working.
Yeah.
If you can deal with mom and dad when things get
Mm-hmm.
irate, then everything's fine.
Yeah,
You go
because
work somewhere
that's
else.
probably like the worst situation that you could be in as like the worst boss, because it's your mom and your
Yeah,
dad. They know all your quirks
everything.
and everything. So if once they go to the real world, it'll be a breeze.
That's right, and it's easy. It's part of that. That's part of the training. And
Yeah.
it's been really fun because it's us, right? It's our family. And my own kind of little fear is as they get older, they're not going to want to hang out with mom and dad anymore.
Yeah.
And it's coming, right? It's
Now it's
okay.
forced. It's
So
forced.
now they don't have a choice. We get to hang with them, talk more. Um, and so the menu, we picked it and we said, we're just going to do donuts. We really want to sell pizza,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to do our bolillos. And
Oh,
we just said just those
yes.
three things and sell coffee, and just to see where it goes. And ironically enough, the donuts really have taken off,
Oh, yeah.
and the pizza is starting to get some traction, and the bolillos have as well, and our sandwiches. The concept of a walk-up window was one thing that we said
Mm-hmm.
because of the pandemic. We said,
Right.
this work perfectly.
Yeah, it'd be
I
easy.
think we just walk up. We're in what would be known as the front of the house, and we said, let's just, do hold that for now.
Yeah.
We'll use it as storage, and then we can eventually get to
And your podcast background.
yeah, that's right. This is our stage. But it's gone really well, and we're pretty excited in that a couple of things have come up in the last year. In that, and then I would say this was sort of the sentimental part of it is that I've always wanted to just kind of bake with my dad again, right? Just hang out with my dad again. And he's come by, and it's been a little tougher the last few months for him to come out and just hang out. But it's like, as you get older, you realize the important things.
Of
See a
course.
reflection of the pandemic. But just to kind of hang and then make bread and just kind of like see what happens is always fun. And he always gets really critical of me and some stuff. Just like,
You're like, Dad,
I
come
miss
on.
that, Dad. I don't miss the yelling. And it's really interesting because recently, it can get kind of heated in the kitchen. No pun intended, but I had started sniping at my wife on something, and she started sniping back. And my son is like, both you guys just knock it off. And I realized I had that same conversation with my parents a long time ago, where my parents would fight in the store, and customers were in, and I'd say, hey, you know what? They can't hear you. You guys got to get really loud so they can hear you. But my son did it to us, and luckily there was no customer there. But
you're like, this just had this, like it flashed
it came
back in your head.
It was awesome. It was just like, oh well,
it's where you're supposed to be.
That's how it works. Yeah. So one of my sons works on Saturday, and the other son works on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And if it gets really busy, we got to call in whoever.
The enforcements.
You guys got to come in. But part of the sort of, I guess the other surprise was that, I was pretty confident in our bolillo growing up, and making the sandwiches. If you have a sandwich with good bread, I think it makes the big difference.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
And so the pizza, we really wanted to bring something different. I'm not going to compete with Capri.
Of course.
That's a legendary pizza. It's good pizza. Diarco's, all these other folks that are around here, we want to provide our own different take on it. And so we're slowly going to be introducing other kind of flavors, barbecue chicken and buffalo chicken, and then doing a portobello mushroom. We've been getting a lot of requests for vegetarian options, and so we're pretty excited about that. And vegetarian and portobello tortas.
Oh my gosh!
If you go back in the kitchen, you'll see that our fryer is small. And so it's not as efficient because I honestly thought that the bolillo and the pizza would sort of be
the top one, the top
sales component,
yeah.
makers. And it's been the donuts, and so it's been like upside down. And I didn't think we would need as much space.
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually applied for a few of those city grants that were out there.
Okay.
And we did get awarded 2 grants. One was the community reinvestment grant, which we turned down, but we got the Small Business Improvement Fund,
oh, nice.
fund for the building. So we're going to make the kitchen bigger.
Nice.
Because if you go back there, it has those walls, and it's just really inefficient for us. And because the donuts need better ventilation, we got to install a new hood, get a bigger fryer, and then be able to make even more donuts. Because what happens is we'll run out.
Yeah.
And people come.
And then they're
mad.
disappointed.
Yeah, and it's like, sorry, guys. Because there's only so much we can make.
Right.
On each batch. And so that'll help a lot. We're going to rebuild our walk-in cooler. And what we're really excited about is right here, this is the front of the building. We're actually going to redesign the whole facade of the building.
Oh, wow.
Where we may have sort of a larger option for folks to walk up and order here.
Awesome.
We don't know if we'll do kind of a full service kind of cafe or what have you, mainly because of just the efficiency of folks coming in, and just it works a lot better.
Yeah.
So it's our kind of take on a drive up or walk up window.
Right.
And so that's how we're going to be approaching it. So we it's being designed now by an architect, and so we still have all the sort of the administrative part of it.
Right.
So we're hoping that we'll do construction hopefully in March.
Oh, okay.
So we will shut down for a little bit to get that all done, but we'll see how we can get that going.
Fingers crossed for you guys.
But the big news is, the really exciting part of it is that I was mentioning before we started recording about the whole certification process.
Yeah.
So there's wonderful opportunities for small businesses to get certified, either as minority, women, disadvantaged business, enterprises, based on what opportunities are out there. So in a previous incarnation of myself, I used to work at the Chicago Department of Aviation 15 years ago, and I learned about the concession program that I headed up over there. And there's very few Latinos in that marketplace. And so those contracts only open up every 15, 20 years.
Yeah, once in a great while.
And once in a great while, because they're long-term contracts.
Right.
And so when I was beginning Chico's Oven, we actually got certified as what they call Airport Concession Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. Got it certified, and a year ago, a little more than a year ago, when I left my old incarnation at Hacia, had plans to open this up, but joined a bid on a contract for O'Hare's Terminal 5. And so the way that works is that the city will say, or the airport will say, we're building a new terminal for Southwest Airlines. We're going to put 8 new gates here. We want a burger concept here, a coffee concept here, a full restaurant here. They kind of plan it out for you already. And then they put it out on the street and say, all right, bidders, bid whatever.
This is what we have.
What you can do.
Yeah.
And so in that marketplace, there's only a few big concessionaires in the country. And I've got a real good relationship with one of them called HMS Host, and was asked to be on their team.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, let's do it. And we actually ended up winning the burger concept. So we don't sell burgers here at Chico's Oven, but the business is part of a larger joint venture at O'Hare that's opening up a franchise for the Butcher and the Burger.
I think I've heard of that.
Have you been there? They're in Lincoln Park. They wanted a Chicago-based burger
business.
And what we ended up doing is creating a royalty agreement with the Butcher and the Burger. And myself, another ACDBE, and that company HMS Host are going to be the operators.
Oh my gosh!
For 10 years, so it'll be a 10-year contract.
Holy cow!
So they're building. So all of O'Hare is being redeveloped now.
Yeah.
And Southwest Airlines is going to be flying out of O'Hare now. They built a whole new little kind of terminal for them with 8 gates. And we're going to be operating the burger concept there. And there's going to be a bunch of new restaurants there. So if you travel internationally in Terminal 5.
Terminal 5.
So eventually everything else is going to be redeveloped. There's going to be other opportunities there. And so we're hoping to bid on others as well. And so all that's possible because of this, right?
Yes.
Because I said, you know what, I want to do this. And it just so happened it opened up. I got certified. Now, the other part of it's really I have to bet the house, right? Because I have to pay for my portion of the build out there. And it's not cheap. But
so we got to sell more donuts here.
Correct. Well, and it works both ways, right? So revenues there help me grow this here concept.
And then this.
And the ability to maybe even put it somewhere else, right? That 10-year lease over there, we're really excited about it. We won't open up that until probably May or June of next year.
Oh, nice.
And so
it'll come up real quick.
Right? And so we're pretty excited about that. It's way different. It's a challenge. Probably the biggest challenge is just driving up there.
Oh yeah.
To O'Hare
yeah,
anything.
Definitely.
So we're excited in that it's going to help sort of the overall business, along with sort of the revamp that we're doing here for next year.
Right. Yeah.
And so we're going to hire some folks. We got to bring other folks in. Part of sort of the little program, apprenticeship program I have with my sons is more of the sort of the training module for when we bring new staff on and kind of walk them through. Do they want to learn how to be bakers? We could show them that. Or do they want to do sort of the front of the house? Or even from sort of the management standpoint, is sort of walking new staff through and say, we can show you how to run a business.
Right, yeah.
Right? You can come work here too if you just want to do that, but there's a little more than that.
Right.
And so that's really sort of differentiator that we're trying to promote here.
That's so awesome. Some big things coming to Chico's Oven.
That's right. All because of here, 83rd in Houston.
That's so awesome. And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
But tell me about the donuts that you have here because they are completely different from anything that you can buy, whether it be a franchisee or from a local bakery. I know I've bought a couple dozen before for my husband when he takes them to work and they're like, wow, there's actual fruit in this frosting. So they like never experienced a donut that's like Chico's Oven. So tell me a little bit about like what concept or how you come up with the concepts for the donuts and the flavorings on them.
Well, it's fascinating that we've come up with it based off of just the base donut, which is just a sugar cinnamon that we have.
Yeah.
But then the chocolate that we have, we buy a sort of a base chocolate, but then we doctor it up.
Okay.
So it isn't just chocolate kind of off the shelf. We actually do more to it, and then we prep it and we put it in separate bins, and I have to mark down that it's prepped chocolate. But it's really as creative as you could possibly be, and a lot of it too is to say, how do we brand the donuts? That's a sort of a next phase for the late fall. And kind of naming them.
Yeah.
The Blues Brothers is a big deal out here in South Chicago, right? So the blueberry donut is sort of our Blues Brother donut. But fruit, sort of the natural fruit, strawberry, the blueberry, lemon is new.
Oh, really?
Cheesecake is another one as well that we've added.
Yeah, I seen that one on Instagram.
And our s'mores has been really taken off.
I think that's one of my favorites. I know that which one do you like? The blueberry. I know one of his friends likes the cherry, I think. The cherry.
Oh, the cherry bomb?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think one of my favorites is definitely the s'more one with the marshmallow,
that's
the
right,
roasted marshmallow on top. Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah. It's funny, inside joke. I always mess up roasting the marshmallows. So I'm quickly told, all right, Dad, you're not the finishing team. This is the finishing team. You're more like the rough baker guy.
You're like burning them on the donuts.
You start blowing them too because it's
you're like, no.
Yep. Yeah, no, I've already been told.
No more for Chico.
But a lot of it too is sort of the more creative we make, the funner it is. It's bear season now. So we'll have those. Hopefully later today. But also part of the concept is sort of it's our oven. And so what else can we make in the oven? So we've tested croissants there.
Oh, nice.
And they've done really well. They had the Intelligentsia cycling race over in the bush this summer. So we tested it. We made lunch for their crew and tested the croissants with them. Worked out really well. We also had a couple of requests for like brownies and muffins. And so we're still looking to see how we can do that. I remember we did those back in the early 90s. And so I'd have to like beta test them for a while, so see where we're at on
We
them.
can definitely be taste testers.
There you go. We'll call people in to
Yeah, exactly.
rate
It's
them.
like, we need you to try these brownies real
Do
quick.
some
Okay.
some market research on are they working or not.
Exactly.
And so we're still looking to see what else we can kind of add to the menu on that. But it's an oven, so you could do a lot in there. One of my sons is saying, since we're going to do this renovation, can we do a little grill? Because if we do some like ribeye steak sandwiches in your bolillo, that might really work.
Oh my gosh.
And he was 14. I said, it'll be on you to do this. He says, and he's
you
like,
gotta learn how to cook it.
He's confident. He's a very good cook, actually. And he's like, I got this, Dad. Don't worry.
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
well. So we'll see. The challenge with that is beef is at an all-time high.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. And a part of it too is sort of our pricing strategy, as well as how do you keep it, still affordable. I mean, inflation is really high right now. We probably will have to raise prices in a few weeks, but the other part of it is too is like we want to make it a destination for folks. We've had people drive in from, I think the farthest way so far right now is Arlington Heights.
Oh my gosh!
Someone came from Naperville. Folks came in from Schaumburg. A guy who grew up around here, who now lives in Schaumburg, and I think you got St. John's and Cherville so far.
Okay.
I think one guy said he's from Crete. So.
But got a good base.
And so and gas ain't cheap right now either. So it's like, as long as it come out, and it's part of our brand building, right? We want to keep it, obviously pricing strategies, keep it affordable, but then how do you make it worthwhile for folks to come up?
Right.
And a lot of folks who come, and today's Sunday, so it becomes a big like torta day. So they'll just buy bolillos because they'll make their own tortas. But it's bear season, so they'll order pizzas and what have you, or they'll get their stuff for their football parties.
Right. Yeah.
So it's we're trying to kind of tune everything to that. But that's the sort of exciting part of it. I mean, I think I guess it's a long way to answer your question about the flavors. We really just try to be as creative as we can.
Yeah.
And really see what else is out there and shamelessly take the idea and see how you make it better. So we'll see. But
maybe one day a South by Southeast donut.
Yeah. You know what? We did Sacred Heart for the church.
I did see that.
For the kids. They had a celebration and they ordered a bunch of donuts, and we made them a Sacred Heart.
Their emblem or their crest.
With the little
yeah.
And so we are looking at that kind of those kind of ideas. We want to do one for OLG.
Oh,
that's
nice.
my parish, and
that's where I went to grammar school.
You went to grade school there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my boys went to grade school there too.
All 8 years.
There's a great, there's a big history there.
Oh, I'm sure. That's like the first Mexican church in the city of Chicago, or parish in the city of Chicago. So yeah, there's a lot going on there, and we're looking for them too. We want to try and interview them and see that, like, just like how you just said, like the history of it and the whole backstory of everything. And I know there's a whole lot that goes into that church too. So hopefully one day we can get them too.
Yeah.
One day.
I can help out with that one.
Oh, yeah.
I still get involved with them.
We can definitely do that. Yeah. So then tell me about the bolillos and the pizza. I know Mike wants to know if you can give away any secrets.
I can't. I can't. I wish I would have brought it. I don't have it here. It's at home in a safe. I actually, when I was,
no secrets today.
I must have been 8 or 9 years old when my dad started showing me this stuff, and I didn't realize he had like this whole like in his head.
Yeah.
Like he would show me how to weigh the flour, cut the eggs, or weigh the salt or yeast, what have you, and when you're 8 or 9, you don't want to do that stuff,
of
right?
course.
And so I just sucked it up and did it, and as I got older, I realized, oh no, I'm actually learning how to do this. So I would weigh flours, and then as I got older, I would throw it in the mixer, and we still have our old mixer.
I'll show you.
It's this 80-quart mixer that weighs a ton.
It's very seasoned.
I got the bowl repolished, but we so I would then make the doughs, and then and then later on he showed me how to actually cut the dough and do all that. So I wrote down the recipes on this little notebook, and I still have that.
Oh my god!
And I remember, and it's in my
in your little kid writing.
and so I would show people, and I was like, hey, and no one like, and then I remember I showed my boys and they were younger and they were like, really, man, this is it right here. This is what we need to do. And it was fascinating because as my career and sort of professional career took off, I would always sort of think of that stuff, like, when maybe I just go do that, right? And here I am, right? And it's like we got it, we've adjusted it for batch sizes, and it's the whole baking industry has really changed considerably in 28 years. And so it's been really cool to kind of to do it again. And when we were testing it out, really over a year ago, before we even opened, my dad would come out. He'd be, a hard critic. He'd smell the bread. He'd say,
"This doesn't have enough flour."
Yeah, I know. He put too much yeast in it. I said, what do you mean? It's the recipes. I don't know what you do with the yeast.
Oh gosh.
And so all of that has been the cool part. So it's the original recipe, and actually, my dad, and his parents had a bakery in Mexico, in San Luis Potosí, town called Cedral. And so they had their own little brick oven, and they did all this. So he really knew this stuff. And so it comes sort of from a long line of sort of bolillo, tested bolillos. And some people call it birote. It depends on where you're from Mexico. But so we would make pizza bread from bolillo. When we had the bakery back in the 70s and 80s, and some people still remember that. In fact, one guy came by. He's like, "Hey, man, I don't want a pizza." He goes, "I want you to make me those pizza breads like how you did back then."
Oh my
gosh!
Like,
okay, you remember this? And he works at Ford now, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And I made him. So from there, it was sort of a natural offshoot to make pizza. So when we were kids, we would make the kind of the sheet pizza, but using bolillo as
the bread,
and we would just adjust it, and it's kind of the same. It's not really. It's the flour that makes the big difference, right? If you get really good flour for your pizza, then it's the difference. And I think that's the big difference. We really did a lot of research on making sure we get the right flour for the pizza. And and even my previous lives, I traveled a lot. I went to Europe. Actually, me and Lupe, we got engaged in Paris.
Oh my gosh!
So when I was younger, when I had time off, I would just go to Europe and just hang out.
Oh my
gosh! I would travel around by myself. And then when we were dating, just a quick story. When we were dating, I was telling her, you got to go to Europe. And then we had been dating for a while, and I said, we should see if we can go to France. And she says, really?
Oh my
What if we go and buy tickets right now? Would you go? I said, yeah, let's do it. So we drove to the travel agency on the east side, walked in there.
Oh my gosh!
Bought tickets. Going to Europe.
That's how it happened.
I'm going to marry this woman. That's how it works, man.
That was the test.
That was it. So then I freaked out. I'm like, okay, we had like this big tour, and I got to buy a ring. What am I going to ask? Awesome. So yeah, I asked her on the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh my gosh, that's an awesome story.
Thanks.
That's a good story to pass down.
So that's also like the influence of like the bolillo, right? We've tested baguettes. We've done those.
Oh, okay.
We made, and we have. If you come and ask for a sandwich de jambon et fromage, we'll give you gruyere cheese on there. We do have that.
Oh,
and so we're trying to get
that's
that
like
out.
the secret
There's a
menu.
secret. Yeah, you come on in. We won't put it on a baguette. We'll put it in a bolillo, but we'll definitely heat it up. Along with that, actually, we don't have it on the menu, but people will ask for their bolillos to get toasted. So we have been doing that. So it's not on the menu.
Gosh.
So people ask for it.
Special requests.
A special request. They come in. Can you toast it? Absolutely.
Awesome.
But the gruyere and ham is the
and
fun
ham.
Part.
Secret menu.
That's right.
So then, Jorge, tell me how people can enjoy your donuts, enjoy Chico's Oven, and where they can go to pick them up, to place an order, all of that good stuff.
Yeah. No, well, you go to chicosoven.com. We really want to make it easy for folks to order and pick up. So if you come in, if you order online, we'll have it ready for you. And you can tell us exactly what time you want to come pick it up. So the menu's on there. The menu is actually on the wall. So if you come to 8030 Houston in South Chicago, and part of this too, if I can, is people asked us, why don't you open this on the east side, or why don't you open it over there? I said, no, I guess I could have, right?
Right.
We could have. It's much different marketplace now. There's a lot of traffic there, but part of sort of my sort of vision and kind of who I am is, this is my home, and how do I get to rebuild be part of the sort of new marketplace here in South Chicago on the Bush, which I think we're probably in the same spot we were 120 years ago.
That's so crazy.
So what is it going to look like in 50, 80 years? So 8030 Houston, right? That's home for us. It's still easy to get to.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's very accessible.
I always tell people, well, this isn't like the neighborhoods of like 100 years ago. You can just get in your car and drive.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. It's like...
I mean, it's right off of South Shore Drive. It's right off of the extension. You can get off on 9094. Is that over there on the expressway? On 95th, come straight here, down Commercial. That's what we did.
Easy to get to.
So easy.
It's if you're coming from north, right? South Lakeshore Drive.
I mean, you might get caught by a bridge if you're coming from the east side, but that's about it. It's bound to happen.
It's going to happen. But yeah, but find us online on social media, Instagram. We're on there, and or just call us up.
Yeah.
So our number 773-756-2328 is also a text number, so people can text it in as well. So we try to make it as easy as possible. We take cash and card. I didn't realize that's I'll say our cards are probably at least 40% of our sales.
Oh my gosh.
So it's easy, and actually it's just you come up to the window, you just put your card against it, and it'll read it, and you're in and out. And so people find that
super easy, super convenient.
Very convenient.
Yes. And then tell me, what is your favorite item to make and to eat here?
My favorite item to make is the bolillo. And I really like making ham and cheese bolillo, toasted.
I think that's what Mike is going to get today, too, before we leave.
And when I make it with the Gruyere cheese, it adds a little more. But sugar cinnamon donut, it's always
classic.
It's a staple, easy to go, easy to do. And I would say I never drank coffee up until you opened this.
Really?
I was a tea person. I would drink black, green,
me too.
Red tea.
Yeah.
But people started asking for coffee. We have a coffee grinder here, and we freshly grind it, make it, and then we started asking for iced coffee. It's like, okay, let's do it. So
put some ice in there.
So my boys are really good at making that, and so they picked it up pretty good. And so we get here pretty early. I get here pretty early on the weekends, and typically by 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm having coffee
gosh,
just to finish up the
stay
day.
Up.
Yeah, but it's been fun. I'd say we we're only open weekends right now, but we are going to be hiring folks, and we're going to look to see how we can open during the week. Epic Charter High School is right across the street, and they always ask us, all the kids, and I didn't realize how packed it gets here, and there's kids from all over the southeast side that go to the school, and so
this would be breakfast.
I know, we were trying to figure that. We had to figure out that how to add that to the menu, but we get a lot of requests for that, and actually a lot of the companies who still remember and ask, is this real or not?
Like,
you get open. We'd like to order lunch from you. We're still trying to figure out how to address all those.
That's so awesome. And I feel like big things are coming for Chico's Oven, and be at the airport and other items here. And then once you get all of the construction done, and it's going to be so good.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a fun part. We have photos of this intersection, 8030 Houston, from 100 years ago.
Oh,
but it's facing that way when they just built it was Sullivan back then. And I'm just excited. Like, what is it going to be in the next 100 years?
Yeah,
I won't be around, right? We won't be around. But
I mean, you could get frozen.
You never know, right? But what does it look like, right? And that's sort of the thing that I think it's easy for like folks nowadays, because we want things instantly, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is how do you look at that long-term view and kind of vision for like a business, and we'll see. So part of it is at least we're here, we're having fun with it.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
And I used to jokingly say, I'm going to do this one day. I don't care if it makes money, but I just want to hang out and do this. And then I was like, okay, we did all that. We're still having fun. And we have all these other challenges, and it is fun. And I think that's the part of, I guess, the stage that I'm at in my life now is I just want to have fun. It's what's really important, and
right.
Let's just see where this goes.
Yeah, and that's awesome to know, because it may have skipped a couple years in between, but you came back, like how we said earlier. It's like just a cycle. It's a full circle now. Where do you see it coming or going into the future? Was it going to continue with your boys, or do you think that they might just set it to the side like you did?
I don't know. Right now they're kind of split. I think one of them is interested in it. The other one has other plans. I'm supportive of them either way.
Of course.
We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, and maybe it'll come full circle
maybe
again.
It'll come back. You never know. But I like to tell them, I go, maybe we'll have more than one location.
Yeah.
You never know where this all can go, and that's part of sort of the kind of, I guess, passion is like, okay, well, we don't know where it can go, but I know differently from other small businesses is that many times they always argue there's not enough resources or technical assistance to show me where to go. Why they have a better sense of that, and so I don't like they sort of necessarily sort of. To me, it's sort of, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Right.
We could talk about small businesses. I can help them. I could talk about all day, but I'd rather just show them, like,
right.
This is how you do it. Here's the teachable equivalent. This is where you need to go, what to do. You can hear all the rhetoric. It's great if you like that.
Right. Yeah.
Or if you do it, it's kind of akin to like a picture says 1,000 words.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's
it would be very hands-on so that they know what they're getting into, what to look forward to, and possible detours that they would have to take.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's very good learning experience as well.
Yeah, we had one guy come up and he's like, "How did you get this done?" I went, "What do you mean?" He goes, "This is just like a house, right?" I went, "Well, no, it's not a house. It's a business. You got to deal with your zoning. If you don't have it to zoning right, then you can't get your license." And when I bought the building, it's zoned for a commercial business.
Oh, okay.
And I never changed it. I could have changed it, which would have meant a much cheaper mortgage because I bought the house from my dad. But when it's commercial, you pay a higher interest rate.
Right. Yeah. And
so I thought about it. I said, we could change the zoning, down zone it, and then pay less. And I said, no. And so I sucked it up, and it's paid off.
I mean,
right? Yeah. And so like this guy came by. He's like, "Well, I want to do it at my house." I went, "Well, depends on where your house is at."
Yeah.
He says, "Well, no, I live in the corner." I go, "Okay, well, you got to check your zoning." Turns out it's not zoned for that. I go, "Well, so you could change it.
You could if you wanted to.
Possible.
There's a few little
things like that,
red tapes you got to get through."
I'd be happy to show. And I think part of it too is how do you build a market, right? And so you need market makers. If you look at Commercial Avenue, like Macias Produce and La Fruteria, right? They're the market makers there. You have to be able to create those nodes where you do create a market.
Right.
And so I would love to be part of a new marketplace here.
Of course, of course. And again, let everybody know how they can reach Chico's Oven, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, website, phone number, all of it.
Yeah, no, we're all over social media. I don't have the addresses right now. Like I could, but
we'll share them. We'll share them on the bottom.
But we definitely have 756-2328, 773 area code. ChicosOven.com is the easy way to find us online. But if you're driving around 8030 Houston, if you see the flags out here and the street signs out, that's how you know we're open. We've got some more signs coming as well. So we're constantly upgrading that.
Awesome. Beautiful. Well, thank you, Chico, for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. I can smell all of the deliciousness coming out of the kitchen.
Awesome.
So we're going to have to make sure to get some before we go.
There you go.
But thank you again.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting our podcast and for everybody here today. This is another episode of South by Southeast.
If I don't get up and grow